Going beyond words. To really communicate effectively, you need to use intonation to modulate your voice to interact well with your dialogue partner. Today we'll look at one powerful prosodic pattern, the minor third. For example, it sounds like this. Hang on. Here's the context. You're in a conversation with someone, she's talking away, and her phone vibrates. She stops, then says, hang on, I've got to get that. The prosody is important. A high pitch, then a low pitch. Hang on, it's very distinctive. Before we go into detail on the prosodic form, let's consider a simpler case, a knock-knock joke. Knock knock, who's there? Doris. Doris who? Doris locked, that's why I'm knocking. Wah ha ha ha. It's a pun, Doris for Doris. These are quite childish. First graders like them a lot. But let's look at it in detail. The interesting thing is that the knock-knock demands a response. Not so much because of the words, but because you say it with a specific prosodic pattern. Knock-knock. It demands a response. If you hear knock-knock and don't respond, who's there? You seem cold, asocial, out of it, or just somebody who doesn't know English very well. And you have to respond quickly. Too slow and you seem dim-witted. So you want to catch the rhythm. If you think of it musically, there's 2 bars in 3/4 time, with the rest in the middle. So it goes like this. Knock, knock. Who's there? Now, how can people respond so quickly? There's really no time to think how to respond. But it's okay, because this pattern is used only when there's no need to think. When from the context, it's obvious what to do. When there's a social imperative, you just have to follow it. Alright, what exactly is the prosodic pattern here? Well, the 2 syllables are both lengthened, with the second typically longer. Both syllables have flat pitch. Both are loud and clear. And all of these things make it a good attention getter. Finally, there's the pitch drop. This is typically a minor third, hence the name of this pattern. However, it can be a little less. If you're an adult and not feeling too playful, you might just say, knock knock, with less of a drop. However, it can also be greater. For example, imagine you're calling to your nephew Johnny, who's playing out back. Johnny, or even Johnny. Here the pitch drop is more extreme. It's really singing rather than speaking. In any case, it again demands a response. Johnny, hearing this, will ideally say yes and come running, if he's a good boy and still small. By the way, there's a power difference here. Parents can use the minor third pattern with kids, and bosses when talking with workers, but not so much the other way, unless you're being playful. Here's another example. Over here. Johnny might say this if he's up in a tree, wanting Mom to look at him. With a pitch drop, it's again demanding a response. The response might be, wow, look at you, or just a wave. Now this one's interesting because the word here gets transformed. Every dictionary will tell you that here has 1 syllable, but in this context it clearly has 2. Why? Well, this pattern requires loud, lengthened syllables. That is, they must be stressed. But in over here, only the second word is stressed. So that word gets broken in 2 to provide enough syllables for the pattern. Here's another example. I'm home. Again, an extra syllable appears. Interestingly, you can see this pattern without words at all. Many doorbells ring as a minor third or a major third. That's me trying to be a doorbell. Of course, doorbells speak no words. They just make 2 tones, but this still demands a response. Often the response even comes in the same rhythm. Boom, come in. Boom, just a second. Boom, who's there? Which relates back to our knock-knock jokes. Another example where this pattern works without words is You might use this if a 2-year-old is reaching for the cookies, but it's not snack time yet. In general, the minor third pattern cues a socially mandated response. What's the response to Well, stop, right away. Whatever you're doing, stop. Here are some more minor third examples. These are learned by every native speaker as a child, some in games, and some starting very young. Peekaboo for a baby as a way to catch her attention. Knock knock for first graders as you saw. Nya nya for second and third graders. A playground taunt as in nya nya. Marco as in Marco Polo. That's the pool game for older kids. Here are a few more. Stop that. Excuse me. Okay, let's review. The minor third pattern has a pitch drop, 2 flat, loud, lengthened syllables, and it demands a response by social obligation. Okay, one final example. This final example you probably know very well. It's the use in goodbye. 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 There's a minor third, a rest, and the other person responds, typically also with goodbye. Let's do this one together. Ready? Well, it's been nice talking to you. Goodbye.